What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka Descendant of Chaos and Controversy. So Ricky Manor did a video touching upon the topic of discussion in regards to the black on black crime in the black community. Okay. And where it appears or seems as though there's no accountability, just a lot of finger pointing and the blame game in regards to a lot of decisions or poor decisions and actions of certain types of individuals that contribute to the crime, um, leading to the black on black um, destruction. Now, I know when pointing out certain black individuals or people that appears that they have this self-hating thing about them or attitude about them or against their own people. You get those that get referenced, such as Brandon Tatum's or Candace Owens and the ABLs or whoever, right? Because of the rhetoric, right? But in addition or aside from those examples, those that go about and executing other black individuals, whether it be because of the confrontations, affiliation with gangs, some of the drama and the unwarranted nonsense that is entertained to justify or excuse why one brother took out another brother over some petty and trivial bullshit. And it's entertaining to those that are white supremacists, neo Nazis, white nationalists, or those that are basically anti black. Because the thing that I think people misinterpret when I say I really don't care to discuss about the black on black crime, because it's just justified rebuttal for those type of people to throw up in our face whenever we point out their bullshit, to say, why you looking at us? Yeah, we don't like you niggas. We don't make excuses or deny that we don't like you niggas. But look at what you're doing to yourselves. You can't even point the finger at us because you doing our job for us. So yeah, maybe on another level where we insert ourselves to fuck with you, overall, we don't have to burn you out of your house, use scare tactics, dressing up in sheets and burning crosses and on your front lawn, or going around making nooses and hang you from a tree, or you know, fucking you over when it comes to bringing you to court and bringing down the hammer and passing your sentence, or dressing up in police uniforms and having no consequences to our actions when we see you out there and we're picking you off. We do it in a small a fraction of numbers compared to what y'all do on the daily to yourselves. So we don't have to initiate violence where what we were comfortable and had no consequences or no accountability for taking you guys out of the equation. Y'all executing yourselves. I wanted to do a video breaking down and going over and analyzing the movie Higher Learning, because that in great detail was damn near spot on with pointing out a lot of different subject matters, racism being one of them, and how some of these individuals who apply themselves to such racism, how they can easily recruit those that are weak-minded, isolated or outcast from society, need a sense of belonging because they don't know where they fit in. Michael Rappaport played the character of Remy, and he was lost. He didn't know where he fit in, and he was easily targeted by these people who preyed on those individuals. Now, it was something that Ricky Manor had pointed out, where he said that was with certain decisions that are made, there's always consequences and a lack of accountability. Okay. In some cases, not all, you get some black people who project their failures or their poor decision makings or whatever the case may be, or their failures on the white people. Okay, saying they're to blame for their failure or lack of success or whatever the case may be. On the flip side of that coin, you got these racist white folks that blame black people for why a lot of the things don't fall in their favor because of affirmative action, um, the non-discrimination laws, jobs that they pretty much dominated. Now it had to be rationed out to where there was some sort of balance and stuff. Certain neighborhoods that they once were, brought up and lived in their whole lives. Now it was integrated and stuff. There's a lot of issues that these white supremacists really are disgusted with, don't like. And they pointed out in their own topics of discussions. So don't pretend that these conversations don't exist, because they do. Some of these, like I said, when there's an evolution of things, how things evolve. I do make it a point, and I do agree with on a certain level that because certain, how should I say, racists felt strategically it was more effective to do away with the white robes and the hoods and exchange that uniform for police uniforms in certain demographics, not all. But a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a bunch of nonsense." No, it's not a bunch of nonsense. Because how do you justify getting away with killing black people without consequence? You work within the law. And especially if you have these things put into place where if you kill an individual without consequences and without accountability, I mean, let's call it for what it is now. Don't just like I'm not gonna sit here and make an excuse for black on black crime. Don't sit there and make an excuse for those officers in particular who go about crossing that line that should never have been crossed to begin with. I don't care how you dress it up to make the excuses to say, well, if he only complied, if he didn't resist, or whatever how you should say, routine, what sayings go, or use of dialogue that police use. So in the audio, it sounds like they're justified in handing that ass whooping, or justified in pulling the trigger and shooting someone in the back. I really wanted to do a video, which I am, but there was 2 instances when it came to law enforcement. One with a black individual and one recently that I just watched not too long ago with a white individual. And this is why I talk about balancing the scale, so I don't just sit there and make it seem like it's just police targeting black folks only. These individuals were deaf. They couldn't hear the commands and how they communicate with their hands and try to say this or whatever. What disgusts me is, instead of taking responsibility and accountability to say, oh, we fucked up because we weren't aware that these people were deaf. No, you escalate the situation and try to justify how you handled these individuals because of the fact that you was ignorant to the fact that you didn't know they were deaf. And once you found out, you took it a step further to still treat them like criminals instead of being apologetic and humbling yourselves and say, you know what, we weren't trained in this to handle these type of individuals. Let's just stop right here and do a do-over. Let's approach this situation differently. No, they still want to charge people, still make them out to be the bad guy just because they didn't comply. How can you comply if the communication barrier is already disrupted because one can hear and the other one can't? So where one could communicate with the hands and the other just with their mouth, that's where I say, when you take sometimes race out of the equation and just look at the situation, police are fucked up in some aspects. But again, that's a video for a different topic of discussion. Where I grew up, I pointed out, and I don't agree with because it doesn't make sense. And in Hartford, Connecticut, the gangs that I can say that I can identify were the Los Solitos, the 20 Love, the Latin Kings, and the different chapters. I never was an affiliate of any of those gangs. Never participated in gang activities. I don't have any tattoos or nothing. I'm a blank canvas to this day. I don't have any ink on my body. Okay. Have I had family members that were affiliated and associated with gangs? Yes. They also made sure that my ass stayed far from that type of life and threatened to whoop my ass if I ever decided to entertain that bullshit. That much I can respect them for. Okay. But I don't understand how you can go about killing your own people, whether it's based off a territory that you don't even own, turf wars, over drugs, if there's enough money or enough to eat off the plate, so they say. They talk about respect, but how can you respect someone that don't even respect themselves or their own community? And I think what pretty much angers me and upsets me more is that when I say I hate being the butt end of a joke, how can you expect people to value us if we don't value ourselves? How can we sit there and point the finger at other people to talk about? Because there was a time where we could identify who the enemy was. But when you look at where we are today, we are our own worst enemy. And when I say there are people that are laughing at us in some aspects, because not all of us entertain that nonsense. But as I talk about blanket perception, because people focus solely and only on the negative, it pretty much convinces and justifies them to have the outlook that they have overall on the black community as a whole. To say, oh, yeah, they're nothing but savages, thugs, animals, criminals, this, that, and the other. But that goes across the board with anything. Like when I was discussing black women, how you got those that are ratchet and whatever, and how they represent and present themselves that's not all. That's not defining all black women. Or case in point, when you look at some of these racist individuals in the white community, they don't represent all white people. Um, Talking about black people. Not all black people are of the criminal or gang element, but that's a reputation that we all get. Not every damn Mexican or whatever you want to say are illegal immigrants. But because that's all that you hear about, that's an overall general perception whenever you come across a person who's Mexican. And then whenever an argument comes about, the first thing somebody wants to throw up in their faces, go back to fucking Mexico, you fucking legal immigrant, not knowing whether they are a U.S. citizen or not. Blanket statements or overall blanketed perception. So, again, the only reason why I don't care too much to hear about the black on black crime is because it's always used as a talking point to throw up in our face whenever dealing with some of these individuals who are anti-black. Okay? Because that will always be their initial and go-to response whenever we're calling them out on their bullshit. And they, in return, throw that up in our face. Well, don't talk about how we treat you motherfucking niggers and da-da-da-da-da when all y'all niggers do is fucking go about killing yourselves. Again, not all of us entertain or have that gang-like mentality. But anyway, that's all I got. Until next time, until next video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video. And you already know how I'm going to do it. Peace.